Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are apparently dishing more secrets, and they sit down for a rare joint interview with CBS Sunday Morning, all about online bullying.
All you want to do as parents is protect them. And so as we can see what's happening in the online space.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex spoke with Jane Pauley from CBS Sunday Morning, and it is going to air this Sunday. Okay, a lot of people cannot wait to tune in because it is a juicy topic. They are talking about online bullying, and it's centered around their children as well.
At this point, we've got to the stage where almost every parent needs to be a first responder.
And I did a little bit of a sneak peek just to see where I could find social media of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And I actually went to the Instagram account, the official Instagram account for Sussex Royale, which has 9.1 million followers. Their last post was 226 weeks ago. That's like March 30th, 2020. And then when I look at the post, there is absolutely no images of their kids. There is one post from way earlier where there's one picture. That was December 31st, 2019. The first tile, I think, is with Harry and Lilibet. But aside from that, you do not catch a glimpse of the kids. So this is probably why people are asking why they are so adamant or so careful about hiding their children when it comes to social media.
All you want to do as parents is protect them.
Now, they are continuing their campaign for online safety. I think this is an important discussion. I'm actually excited and curious to hear their take on this, particularly because we know that there was a concern from when they first were married, and Meghan Markle was, actually, Harry and Meghan both were kind of, scared about the online bullying. And obviously it was ringing a tune familiar to what happened with Princess Diana.
Diana's unstable. Diana's mentally imbalanced.
So let's talk about that. The clip is supposed to air August 4th on Meghan's 43rd birthday. In a previous clip released by the network on August 1st, Meghan spoke about her desire to protect her two children. Right now, it's 5-year-old Prince Archie, 3-year-old Princess Lilibet. They want to protect them from harmful online content. Quote unquote, our kids are young. They're 3 and 5. They're amazing, she said with a smile, but all you want to do as parents is protect them. Can't argue that. So as we can see what's happening in the online space, we know that there's a lot of work to be done there, and we're just happy to be able to be a part of a change for good, is what Meghan continued. Now, Polly then said, you hope that when your children ask for help, someone you know is there to give it. Prince Harry, 39, then chimed in, if you know how to help. I think that's an important statement. At this point, we've got to the stage where every parent needs to be a first responder, Harry continued. And even the best first responders in the world wouldn't be able to tell the signs of possible suicide. That is the terrifying piece of this. This reminds me of a very tragic situation that you may be familiar with. And if you're not, on September 2023, 13-year-old Aubrey Wyatt died by suicide. And how I found out about this is because her mom went viral on TikTok. And, I late night, I'm coming across this post. It came into my feed. It was absolutely devastating. And the fact is, the child, Aubrey, did have signs of depression. She was dealing with bullying. And, I don't want to sidetrack about this story. However, the mom and the sister who actually discovered her in her room. I won't go through the details of how she committed suicide, but it was tragic, okay? So to Harry's point, no mother would have been equipped for that. And poor Aubrey supposedly was bullied in person and online and by text by 4, classmates, schoolmates. I'm not sure if they were classmates, but they were in the school, and she was heavily impacted by that. It was 8 months later, actually, that her mom found notes that she had left. So she had been thinking about doing this, and she planned her own suicide. And the sister and the mom had no idea. There would have been no way. You would have had to have been sleeping with her, had a camera on. We don't know. And that's a challenging part about the impact of bullying for children. I think there's statistically most of kids who die between the age of 8 and 12 Supposedly, it is by suicide. That's the primary cause of death. It's not even accident. That's alarming to me. And it really breaks my heart given that I have an 8-year-old. Thankfully, I've got 2 grown kids who've past that stage and knock on everything. Having said that, I think this is an important discussion. Now, the newlywed announced a trip to Colombia. It's going to take place ahead of the First World Ministerial Conference on the Elimination of Violence Against Children being held in the South American country this November. Francia Marquez, Colombia's vice president and the first Black woman to hold the position, said in a statement, the conference will present a global framework for creating safer physical and virtual spaces, addressing issues such as cyberbullying, online exploitation, and the impact of these threats on mental health. It will offer practical solutions and commitments for countries around the world. During their visit, the Duke and Duchess, as well as the Archwell Foundation, will take part in a number of activities related to this important topic. So this conversation is an important one. Who knows if there will be other revelations about the family, about, other members of the family, other royals, how the relationships are going there, or if they will stay completely focused on the topic of hand, which is cyberbullying. And I'll just move forward to the fact that in February, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex expressed their support for following the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee's hearing on online safety for children in a statement published on the Archwell Foundation's website. We applaud the bravery and determination of the thousands of parents around the country whose advocacy resulted in this hearing. Over the past few years, we've spent time with many of these families, listening to their heartache and their hopes for the urgent change that is needed in an online space. This is an issue that transcends division and party lines, as we saw today at the Senate hearing. The best parenting in the world cannot keep children safe from these platforms. As one of the fathers shared with us, if love could have saved them, all of our children would still be here. This is not the time to pass the buck of responsibility. It's time to make the necessary change at the source to keep our children safe. Meghan has also spoken about being on the receiving end of online abuse at the South by Southwest conference in Austin, Texas in March. And she said that there's a lot of work to be done to keep people safe online. And there is no doubt, even, our viewers, we love our viewers. We appreciate your comments. Your comments are raw. They're real. There are obvious haters and there are obvious fans, and there are obviously people with strong opinions for things. But thankfully, there isn't anybody that is saying, things that would cause somebody to, at least in my mind, you have to have thick skin. I think celebrities to a degree understand that you're in the limelight, you're around, you're impacting millions of people. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. You don't have to take that opinion as your own or validate someone's opinion when they're saying something. They're entitled to it. Take it for what it is, right? If there's a lesson to be learned, great. If you don't give a crap, then fine. But when it comes to children's safety and their monitoring of their children's safety, I would tend to agree that particularly for them, when there's not a lot of love being shown, really for Meghan in the UK or for the couple, in fact, in general, the sentiment has been pretty divided. I would not want their kids to be part of that bullying either. Now, the other part of what she mentioned is that the bulk of the bullying that happened for her was an abuse that she calls was while she was pregnant. And so this is what she stated. You just think about that and to really wrap your head around why people would be so hateful. It's not catty, it's cruel. And why would you do that? Certainly when you're pregnant with a newborn. We all know as moms, it's such a tender and sacred time, she said. I think you could either succumb to it, nearly succumb to how painful that is, and maybe in some regards, because I was pregnant, that mammalian instinct just kicked in. You do everything you can to protect your child, and as a result, you protect yourself too. I think, yes, if you're a part of bullying and depending on, your background, your strength, your mental fortitude, what you're used to, is this the first time? That fight or flight instinct is really real. And when I think to children like Aubrey Wyatt, her mom, that family that clearly was full of love, that, this father had stated no amount of love can protect or shield the child from suicide. If that's the moment that they're in, they're not communicating that. That's often the challenge. They're not communicating that. Sometimes there are no signs. That leaves us to, as parents, I'm curious to know what the tips are, right? but checking in with your kids often, if you have access to their phones, looking at messages, if there's permission and there's no invasion of privacy. But, under 13, 12, knowing that that's an issue, I'd be, having parental guidance on there, and I'd be checking into the teacher, their friends. How are they feeling? Talking about bullying. Did they experience it? Are they the bully, right? You think your kids are great, and you just don't know if they could be the one being bullied or if they're the ones bullying. That being said, guys, secrets are going to be revealed. More will be known to us this Sunday morning. Tune in, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.